I always thought the scariest things in life were the ones you could see coming. The shadow moving toward you, the footsteps behind you, the hand reaching for the doorknob. I was wrong. The worst things hide inside ordinary routines, rules everyone pretends not to notice, paperwork that looks like every other form you've ever signed. By the time you realize something is wrong, you've already agreed to it. That's what happened when I moved to Graybridge, the quiet town that doesn't like to talk about sleep. I didn't move there for a fresh start. It was the only place that offered me a job in the only field I knew: night security. Watching cameras, locking doors, staying awake while everyone else rested. I've never slept well. I'm comfortable in those hours when the world feels like it's holding its breath. So when I saw a listing for a night watch position at the Graybridge Wellness Center, I clicked without thinking twice. The description sounded harmless. Monitor the building overnight, check equipment alarms, log unusual activity. Unusual activity should have made me pause, but I needed the paycheck more than I needed answers. Graybridge looked like a town people drive through and forget. One main street with a diner, a pharmacy, a hardware store, a church with a leaning steeple, and a few houses with tired lawns. Just beyond the town limits, behind a thin line of trees, was the Wellness Center, a 3-story building of glass and pale brick that looked too new, too clean, like it belonged somewhere busier. The director, Dr. Hall, met me in the lobby on my first night. Tall, calm, every sentence sounding practiced. "We specialize in sleep research," she said as we walked past photos of clouds and stars. "Insomnia, parasomnia, chronic nightmares. We do overnight observation and data collection. Your job is simple. Keep the building secure and respect the rules we give you." Rules never scared me. I'd followed plenty at other jobs. Sign in, sign out, walk around every hour. But the rules she handed me were different. 6 short lines centered on the page like a warning label. Rule 1, do not fall asleep inside the building. Rule 2, do not close your eyes for more than 10 seconds in any room on the 3rd floor. Rule 3, if you hear someone calling your name from an empty hallway, check the cameras first. Rule 4, if you see a person on the monitor standing completely still for longer than 10 minutes, call Dr. Hall immediately. Rule 5, at 3 a.m. exactly, all monitors will reset. During this minute, do not look at your own reflection in any surface. Rule 6, if a patient or coworker mentions the red door, write it in the logbook and do not respond. I read them twice, waiting for her to smile and say it was some weird initiation ritual. She didn't. She just watched me. "This is unusual," I said. "Some kind of psychological test?" "The rules are not negotiable," she replied. "You'll be compensated well, but only if you follow them. Failing to do so may result in termination of employment and personal risk. Do you understand?" Personal risk. I should have walked away. But debt is its own kind of pressure, and the salary made my brain go quiet. I signed. The first few nights were uneventful in the way that slowly wears you down. No jump scares, just that low hum of anticipation. I sat in the security room on the 2nd floor, surrounded by grids of monitors showing hallways, stairwells, patient rooms, the empty lobby. Patients arrived with overnight bags, signed forms, had small sensors attached, then disappeared into dim blue rooms. My rounds were simple. Walk the hallways, scan my key card, check locks, whisper security at doors so I wouldn't startle anyone awake. Still, small things bothered me. The clocks in patient rooms kept perfect time, until every few hours they'd blink, reset to 12 south, then quietly jump back to the correct time, like the building swallowed a minute and gave it back. A nurse shrugged it off as recalibration. Staff spoke in low voices that stopped when I walked in. Once I heard 2 nurses arguing in the medication room. "You can't just ignore it," one whispered. "They're seeing the red door again." "Then write it down and move on," the other snapped. You know the protocol." They fell silent when they noticed me, fake smiles snapping into place. I didn't ask, but the phrase "red door" lodged in my head and stayed there. The first truly strange thing happened on my fourth shift, a little after 2 a.m. The building was in that heavy, underwater quiet. I was writing routine notes when I heard my name. "Eli." It sounded like someone standing just outside the security room door, soft, familiar, like a voice from years ago you can't quite place. "Eli, can you help me?" It didn't sound scared, just patient, expecting an answer. Instinctively, I wanted to get up and open the door, but Rule 3 lit up in my mind. If you hear someone calling your name from an empty hallway, check the cameras first. I forced myself to stare at the monitors. The camera showing the hallway outside my door was empty. Closed door. Dim lights. No one there. I checked other feeds. Third floor, stairwells, lobby, patients turning in their sleep, no mouths moving, no one calling my name. "Eli!" The voice came again, closer, almost behind my chair. The hairs on my neck rose. I didn't turn. I watched my faint reflection in the monitor glass instead. The door stayed closed. The voice never knocked, never tried the handle. It just sighed once, almost disappointed, and faded. At the end of my shift, I wrote everything in the logbook, every detail. My hand shook a little. I didn't mention it to Dr. Hall when I clocked out. I wanted to see if the log actually mattered. The next night, the logbook was where I'd left it, but the page with my entry had a red paperclip attached. Next to my report, in precise handwriting, someone had written, "Good job following Rule 3. Continue." No signature. I didn't need one. I could picture Dr. Hall's face. After that, the oddities built up. On my 6th night, a patient complained that someone was sitting on the ceiling above their bed, watching them. I checked the room. No one there. The only thing off was a faint smell, like wet leaves, and a patch of paint near the vent that looked a shade darker than the rest. Until I blinked, and it looked normal. The patient refused to return. Their file was updated. Subject reports. Vertical intruder. Frequent mentions of red door. On my 8th night, while a nurse named Cohen was making coffee, I finally asked, "What's the deal with the red door?" His hand froze halfway to his mouth. "You're not supposed to engage with that," he said quietly. "Just log it." "I know, but why? Is it some shared dream or something?" He stared into his cup. "It's easier for everyone if we pretend it's just a metaphor," he murmured, and left the room. That night, I dreamed of the red door for the first time. I walked down the 3rd floor hallway, but brighter, too bright. All the patient doors were gone, just smooth walls. At the end stood a single door, painted a deep, wet-looking red. No handle, just a keyhole. On the other side, something breathed slowly, trying to be quiet. I woke up with my heart racing and chalked it up to suggestion. Still, I checked my own front door twice before leaving for work. 2 weeks in, the center launched something called the Extended Observation Initiative. The patients called it the Awake Trial. Volunteers had to stay awake for long stretches with only brief, timed micro-naps. Dr. Hall said they were studying the boundaries of consciousness. It sounded off. But every volunteer had signed forms and seemed strangely eager. One of them, a young woman named Mara, became a regular on my rounds. Short dark hair, exhausted eyes trying to pretend they were fine. She paced the hallway at night wrapped in a gray blanket, quietly counting her steps. 37, 38, 39. Sometimes she'd ask, "What time is it?" Or, "Anyone drop out yet?" One night, around 1:30, I found her sitting on the floor, staring toward the glowing emergency exit sign. "You shouldn't sit there," I said. "Someone could trip over you." "Do you ever hear it?" she asked. "Hear what?" "The knocking," she said. Her voice sounded far away, It's very polite at first. I followed her gaze. Empty hallway, closed doors. No, I said. I haven't heard anything. She finally looked at me. It only knocks when you try to sleep, she whispered. That's why they keep us awake. Not to study us, to keep us from letting it in. If you close your eyes too long here, it thinks you're opening the door. A chill ran through me. I tried to stay calm. You're tired, Mara. The mind does strange things without rest. Try to lie down. You've got a nap scheduled soon. They said you still sleep at home, she muttered as I helped her up. Enjoy that while you can, before they need you here full-time. I logged her comment. Later, I peeked at her file. Someone had added, frequent references to extraneous entity, associated with Red Door lexicon. Next to it was a small symbol, like an eye crossed out by a single line. The town itself began to feel wrong. Places closed early. The diner owner glanced at the clock around 8 and urged people to go home. Big day tomorrow, he'd say, even on Tuesdays. Curtains twitched when I walked past. I saw extra chains on doors, paper taped over mirrors. One night I saw a woman in an upstairs window turning all her framed photos to face the wall, one by one, like a ritual. Every town has its superstitions, I told myself. Graybridge just had its own flavor. I'd stumbled into the part nobody talked about. Then came the night the monitors reset late. Every night at 3 a.m., the monitors blinked off for a minute, then came back. During that minute, I followed Rule 5 and avoided reflective surfaces. I'd gotten used to staring at the analog clock or my boots until the feeds returned. But this time, 3 came, and the monitors stayed on. The silence felt wrong. No flicker, no blackout. The clock still ticked. A cold heaviness settled in my stomach. 30 seconds passed, then 45. I couldn't help it. I glanced at the dark corner of one monitor, where the hallway outside the stairwell reflected faintly. For a fraction of a second, I saw the side of my own face, smiling. My actual mouth was pressed into a tight line. I yanked my gaze away. At that exact moment, every monitor snapped off, plunging the room into blackness before stuttering back to life a minute later. All except one, 3F East Hallway. That feed was just black. No static, no error message, just absence. I called Dr. Hall. She answered on the second ring. Which camera? She asked. 3F, East Hallway. It's dark. Reset was late too. Stay in the security room, she said. Do not check the hallway in person. Do not send anyone. Keep watching the other feeds. I'll be there soon. The next half hour felt longer than any shift I'd worked. Nothing moved on the remaining cameras. Sleeping patients, empty hallways, steady green exit signs. When Dr. Hall arrived, she went straight to the dark feed, watching it for a few seconds before turning to me. During the reset, she asked, did you see your reflection? My throat went dry. Only for a second, I said. Before the screens cut out, I thought I saw... I couldn't finish. And did your reflection move differently than you? She asked. She said it like she already knew. I nodded. Yes. She exhaled, then took a small silver key from her pocket. It wasn't a card like our badges. It was an old-fashioned key, metal teeth intricate and sharp. She pressed it into my hand. It felt too cold. This opens a door on the 3rd floor you're not supposed to know about yet, she said. You're going to walk up there with me. When we reach the east hallway, you'll see something that looks like a door but isn't on any map. Do not touch it unless I tell you to. If you hear anything on the other side, ignore it. Understand? I stared at the numbers etched on the key. 300. What door? I whispered, though I already knew. We walked up together. The building feels different when you're not alone at night. Sounds sharper, shadows deeper. On the 3rd floor, most patients in the awake trial were trying not to blink too long. I'd walked this hallway dozens of times. That's why it hit me so hard when I saw a door that hadn't existed the night before. It was red, Not the glossy red from my dream, but a dull, matte red, like old paint peeling off a barn. No nameplate, no number, just sitting between two rooms that had once shared a blank wall. My memory screamed that it was wrong. My eyes insisted it was real. "You've seen it already," Dr. Hall said quietly. "In your sleep." "What is it?" I asked. "It's a threshold," she said. "Not to somewhere, to a when. This town sits in a thin place. Time is less stable here. It folds, buckles. Sometimes when enough people's sleep lines up just right, it makes an opening. The door is how our minds see it." Before I could respond, a faint sound came from behind the red wood. A single, polite knock. My grip tightened around the key. "Don't answer it," she said immediately. "It will know you're listening. It already suspects." "If it's that dangerous," I asked, "why build a facility here at all? Why bring people with sleep problems to the one place sleep is broken?" "Because they come anyway," she said. "Graybridge pulls people who sleep wrong. They move here without knowing why. They take night jobs, wander at odd hours. We can study it and manage it, or ignore it and see what comes through when everyone closes their eyes at the wrong moment." The knock came again, then a voice, muffled but clear. "Eli, are you busy?" It was my voice, from the other side. My mind scrambled for logic. A recording? A prank? But this door wasn't on any map. The key in my hand hummed faintly, as if it recognized where it belonged. "It will use familiar voices," Dr. Hall said. "Requests, bargains, do not engage, do not sleep near it, do not dream with it in mind." "How long has it been doing this?" I asked. "Longer than I've been alive," she answered. "Records go back over a century. It doesn't always look like a door. Sometimes it's a hatch, a window, a well. The form changes, the function doesn't." Another knock. "You don't have to be afraid," my own voice said again. "You already opened it once, remember?" Images flickered at the edge of my mind, dreams of endless hallways and doors that vanished behind me, waking up with cold air in my lungs. "What happens if someone opens it for real?" I asked. "We don't know," she said. "We've never let it fully happen. There have been partial breaches, people disappearing for hours and coming back. Off. Talking about days that didn't exist. Crowds of themselves in rooms that aren't here. But we've always closed it in time. That's what this place is, Eli. Not just a research center. A lock." The key in my palm wasn't just a tool. It was a test. "Why me?" I asked. "You've already drawn its attention," she said. "You heard your name. You dreamed of the door. You saw the wrong reflection. It's not personal. It's pattern. You're just the next point." From then on, the door followed me in subtler ways. Patients who spoke with me started dreaming of doors. Staff who covered my breaks would start to say, "That door at the end of the hall," and then stop, confused. The barista in town told me she dreamed of me standing in a doorway that shouldn't exist. The mail carrier joked that he could have sworn my apartment had a red door yesterday. The threshold was using me as an anchor. When I told Dr. Hall, she listened, then showed me a single-page report from my hiring tests. Subject matches, pattern group omega-3. Predisposed to temporal lability. High affinity for threshold perception. In plain language, she said, some people's minds are looser around time. They notice seams. They dream about structures before they appear. Sometimes those structures notice back. You're not the first. But you're the first since we understood enough to try something different. Different how? Instead of patching the lock from this side, she said, we're going to try reinforcing it from the other side. You want me to go through it? I said. Eventually, she replied, with preparation, with anchors, with monitoring, only with your consent. What if I say no? You'd leave? She said. We'd try to redirect the pattern, but you'd still dream. The door would still find you somewhere else. We'd lose our chance to help. That night at home, I watched dawn creep across my floor and noticed how the corners of my apartment looked wrong. Shadows didn't match the objects casting them. It felt like the world was already bending around an invisible point. I was already orbiting the door, whether I liked it or not. So I said yes. We set a date a week out. During that week, the rules tightened. No sleep inside the building, no mirrors uncovered during reset, no being alone near the third-floor east hallway. Everyone watched me, the nurses, the researchers, the cameras. The night before, I walked the town one last time. Streets empty, houses dark. I wondered how many people inside unconsciously arranged their lives around a door they'd never see awake. How many would feel lighter if we succeeded? When the time came, we stood again in front of the dull red door. Wires ran from sensors on my temples to a portable monitor. A thick cable connected my harness to a machine behind us. Staff watched from a distance. Dr. Hall held the silver key. "Remember the most important rule?" she asked. "Don't fall asleep on the other side," I said. She turned the key. The sound wasn't a normal click. It was like distant thunder under blankets. The door opened. I can't describe what was beyond it in a way that makes full sense. It was the wellness center and not. Corridors bent into staircases into open sky that led back into the same hallway. Floors doubled and vanished. Doors, hundreds of them, lined every surface, some red, some not, all pulsing faintly like they shared a heartbeat with mine. Time felt like a heavy, coiled animal shifting its weight. The cable at my back went taut. Voices crackled faintly in my earpiece, distant and underwater. I focused on counting steps, 1, 2, 3, like Mara used to do. Each step felt too long and too short at the same time. In my peripheral vision, I saw flickers, versions of myself a step ahead or behind, each with their own tether, their own path. Somewhere far behind and right beside me, the red door stayed open, frame trembling like held breath. I knew if it closed, I wouldn't be coming back to this Graybridge, maybe not to any I recognized, so I kept walking. I don't know how long I was in there in real terms. They say the machines recorded 6 minutes and 13 seconds. To me, it felt like minutes, hours, a single heartbeat. At some unmarked point, I felt a shift, like the coiled weight of time settled differently. The doors around me dimmed, their pulsing faded. Deep in the structure, something turned, like a larger, older lock clicking into a new position. Then the cable pulled. The sensation was like walking through water and suddenly stepping into air. The red frame slid past me. The fluorescent hallway snapped back into place. My knees almost buckled, but I stayed standing. The sensors cooled on my skin. The first thing I noticed was the quiet. Not silence, just the absence of that constant background pressure I hadn't realized was there until it was gone. Somewhere unseen, it felt like the town exhaled. We didn't close the door all the way. We left it cracked. Its red paint looked duller, the air behind it less hungry. "It will be back," Dr. Hall said as we went over the data. "Thin places don't vanish, but this buys us time." "For us?" I asked. "For everyone who dreams here," she said, "and everyone who will. They'll still feel the pull. But maybe the knock will be softer, the door slower to appear, the reflections more willing to behave. I still work the night shift at Graybridge Wellness Center. The rules are still taped above my desk. We've added a few. My dreams aren't empty. They never will be. But the hallways in them aren't endless now. The doors feel less eager. Sometimes I even dream of ordinary things again. Coffee cups, traffic lights, awkward conversations that vanish with the morning. The town is changing too. People stay out a little later. The diner keeps its lights on past 8. Some mirrors are uncovered. Sleep isn't easy, but it's less hostile. People don't know why. They just know the nights feel lighter, the shadows less crowded. Sometimes around 3 a.m. when the monitors reset on time and my reflection behaves, I hear it again. A single polite knock. Not on any door I can see, just on the idea of one, patient, waiting. And I remember that locks aren't endings. They're agreements. Agreements we have to keep renewing, night after night, rule after rule, step after step, as we walk the thin line between rest and whatever waits on the other side of the red paint.